Madam Clerk, I detect a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Representatives Cassida, Cooper, Doggett, Eldridge, Grills, Johnson Knox, Leatherwood, Mitchell, Rudd, Sexton Granger, Sherrill, Travis, Warner, Weaver, Vice Chairman Byrd, Chairman Wendell.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
I want to take a personal privilege before we get started and thank all the veterans who are visiting with us today. We appreciate your service to our country and our state, and thank you for being here. And also the veterans out in virtual world, you are appreciated. You're not forgotten. Thank you very much. Any personal privileges or announcements before we get started? Does anybody want to be recognized? If not, we'll proceed with the calendar. We're on House Bill 1054 by Speaker Sexton and Paul Sherrill. Paul Sherrill, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This is a bill brought to me by the Speaker and Sexton and the Comptroller's Office. This refers to the Justin Wilson.
We've got a
Cumberland
motion and a
Trail.
second. Continue.
The bill updates and refers to the code to the official name of Justin P. Wilson Cumberland Trail State Park. And in 2002, by executive order, the Cumberland Trail State Park was renamed to the Justin P. Wilson Cumberland Trail State Park. This bill updates the Cumberland Trail State Park, refers in the codes to the official name of the Justin P. Wilson Cumberland Trail State Park.
Any questions for the sponsor? Any discussion? Got a motion and a second. Question's been called for. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
Thank you, Chairman and
Bill
members.
is referred to calendar rules. Thank you very much, Representative Sherrill. Next on the docket is Senate Joint Resolution 11 by Mr. Charlie Baum. Is he here today? You're recognized, Representative. Got a motion and a second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Wendell. This Senate Joint Resolution names March 2021 Certified Government Financial Managers Month here in Tennessee.
You got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the bill? Seeing none, we got a question from Representative Chairman T.L. Weaver. You recognize T.L. Weaver.
Mr. Sponsor, just kind of like, what is this? I mean, I know what the title is, but what are like the duties of this designated month?
You recognized?
Government financial managers undergo a lot of training. They have to pass a rigorous exam. They have to adhere to a strict code of ethics, and they go through regular training to maintain their certification. This includes 80 hours of continued training every 2 years, and this recognizes this occupation and folks in this occupation for their hard work.
So they have to be really good with numbers.
I would assume so, yes.
So no Common Core math.
I suppose not.
Okay. No further questions. I'm good.
Any further questions? If not, question being called for. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Aye. Bill moves to calendar and rules.
Thank you all.
We are now on item number 3, House Bill 220 by Representative David Hawk. Motion second. You recognize Representative Hawk.
Thank you, Chairman and members. The David Crockett Commission was formed in 2012 to put a statue of Crockett on the Capitol grounds. We're to the point now where the commission is asking for us to give them direction as to the location. This bill will give them direction as to the location of the Crockett statue.
You recognize Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the David Crockett, we're talking about the one out in front of the house right now. Which statute are we talking about?
There is not a Crockett statue at the moment. We're talking about a standing statue to be outside the Capitol ground, on the Capitol grounds. We have a bust of David Crockett right now, facing a bust of Andrew Johnson, looking at each other as we walk into the House chambers. So this will be a freestanding statue or a standing statue on the Capitol grounds themselves outside.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any further questions, sponsor? Representative Sexton, you're recognized, and Mr. Representative Mitchell. Anybody else? In that order, please. Recognize Representative Sexton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this competing for the same place that Dolly was going to go? No further questions.
Out of order.
I can't answer that. No one can compete with Dolly. So Dolly's at the top of the list.
Recognize Bo.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are you talking about where the Carmack statue was? Is that where?
That is the location.
Good deal.
Yeah,
Good deal.
that is the location where the Capitol Commission has great desire to place that. It'll be the first thing that school kids are let off at that area when we do reopen the
Well-
Capitol for viewing.
Yeah, when you go to Texas and you go to the Texas State Museum and around, Capitol areas in Texas, you see statues of Crockett and Sam Houston, and go in their museum, and that's what you see is a bunch of Tennessee. And so it's about time we honor our people in this state.
You recognize, and then Representative Warren, you recognize, and then Cheryl.
Do you have a size, how big the statue might be?
The commission is working with the Capitol. We've got 5 different commissions that are named that are working on this particular project. Typically, it is a bit larger than life. There is I can't recall the exact percentage of how it is larger than life, but Davey was about my size, so we're going to make him as tall as John Mark is what we plan to do. So I think that is in the vision, but it will be in the Davy Crockett Statue Commission is working its way through the best what they want Crockett to look like. Representative Doggett said he will serve as a model for this, as Crockett was last in his district. So I think that's reasonable. We'll put a coonskin cap on him and put him out with a set of dogs, and he's got everything all ready to be modeled. So this is where we're going. Thank you. And I will say, just to address the committee's comments about Texas, this is a way to bring Davy Crockett home. We could, and as we talk about tourism in the state of Tennessee, you can count on one hand how many people come to Tennessee to learn about Dolly, Elvis Presley. I mean, you can count on one hand. And Davy Crockett, the origins of Davy Crockett, we could create a Davy Crockett trail. If you look at where he was born in Northeast Tennessee, where his family had a business in Morristown, where he eventually left Tennessee, you could literally do a trail of Davy Crockett slept here, and that would really bring folks to the state of Tennessee. So I think this is an effort to continue that recognition of one of our favorite sons and to bring Davy home.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one simple question: who is paying for this?
The commission there will be no state tax dollars that will go toward this. This will be done by private donations.
Good, thank you.
The direct descendants of Davy Crockett, there are a couple different entities that are going to be assigned with raising funds to create this statue, so there will be no state funds. Additionally, in this legislation, in order to relocate anything on the current site, there will be no state funds expended there either.
Good. I'm good to support this bill.
Thank you.
Any further questions, sponsor? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Bill goes to State Government Committee. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you,
Sponsor.
Chairman, members.
Appreciate it. We're now on number 4 on the docket, House Bill 394 by Representative Joe Towns. Oh, excuse me, Representative Hardaway. I apologize. I misread the ledger. You're recognized, Representative Hardaway.
Well, I'm glad I'm finally recognized. I don't know how that confusion started, sir.
Got a motion and a second?
You know, before I address my bill, I want to make an observation that you just passed a bill that there will be a statue with the spirit of Davy Crockett, will look like Clay Doggett, about your height. That's the way we do business in Tennessee. Thank you to the committee for considering this piece of legislation. Juneteenth is June the 19th. June the 19th of 1865 was the first that slaves in Galveston and the rest of Texas got the news that the Emancipation Proclamation had been issued. It was a day of celebration then. The commemoration of that day is not merely so that African Americans can celebrate, but so that Americans can celebrate when the principles, the founding principles of the Constitution were finally realized for all people. With that, barring any questions, Mr. Chairman, I'll ask for a favorable recommendation.
You've got a motion and a second. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Any further comments?
Thank you in advance for your vote.
Thank you very much. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Mr. Chairman, the bill goes to Calendar and Rules. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee members.
Sir. We're now on item number 5 on the docket, House Bill 504 by Representative Jay Hodges. You got a motion and a second. You recognize Representative.
Thank you. And so if you guys remember last year, we passed a resolution honoring June 12th as Women's Veterans Day. And what this bill would do is just extend that into making June 12th Women's Veterans Day every year. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
And once again, I want to thank you to all the veterans we have. Now, some more have come in since I recognized them earlier. We thank you for our service, and we're so glad you've taken the time to come visit us today. And it's very appropriate that our representative has carried this, and we do appreciate you being here and certainly appreciate your service. Thank you. Okay. And the sponsor's got a motion and a second. Is there any questions for the sponsor? Question's been called. All in favor of the bill going to Calendar and Rules Committee, please say aye. All opposed, no. Thank you, Representative, and once again, thank you for your service. Keeping in the spirit, we have a Marine veteran at the podium right now with House Bill 826, and thank you for your service, Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to all of the members. Thank you, ladies, for your service. Appreciate you. Simplify, everyone.
You're recognized. You got a motion? You got a second?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This first bill, what it does is, it just honestly puts Tennessee in line with the federal observance of African American Music Month in June. And we're doing this in conjunction with the African American Museum of Music right here in Nashville.
Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing no questions, all in favor of the bill going to Calendar and Rules, please say aye. All opposed, no. Maureen, you are to Calendar and Rules. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
Okay.
I'm still here.
You're also recognized on House Bill 827. You've got item number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the motion, Representative Cassidy. This creates the month of April being observed as Barber Beauty and Health Month. We put this in April because spring is starting, and we want everyone to get in good shape, take care of their health, and make Tennessee look good. And we want, honestly, to honor our barbers, our stylists, and our health professionals in this observance.
You got a motion, you got a second? You got a question from T.L. Weaver? You recognize T.L.?
Thank you, J.M.
You're
Chairman
recognized.
J.M. This is the first time I've been on this committee, so I need a little, probably a little education here on something. My question is, as we pass these designated holidays, and is this something that has to be put on all the calendars? I mean, how does this actually go from when we say yes and amen? Then where does it go from there? I know it becomes law, but how does this get out? When you get a calendar, I mean, is this going to be all on that? Are these going to be named and designated on these calendars, or
Be
how
published
does
in the
that work?
journal. It's published in the journal.
So if somebody's making a calendar, then, I mean, I'm still old school. I get a regular calendar in the mail, and it's got observance, this and that and the other. So is this something that when you make a calendar, you refer to and you put these dates on that? I mean, I don't know who to ask, chairman or the sponsor. How does that work?
You recognize.
From what I understand, it's just an observance, and you'll be able to find it. It'll be published in the state, from what I understand, that we observe Health, Barber, and Beauty Month, just like we do with breast cancer awareness and other things. But it's not an official holiday.
You recognize.
If I could, since I've carried a couple of these myself in the past, what it does, those individuals involved in that endeavor, whatever the resolution says, can take this and hallmark it with their constituents, with their clients, with the media. Just it helps put focus on who they are and what they're doing.
Okay. All right, I didn't know, I guess you would just go to the journals and go to the Tennessee Code to obviously find it, but a lot of your folks out in the field don't really understand how to find that information out. So I wanted just to make sure what we were doing here actually was something people could find out. I guess that's my question, but thank you.
Representative Grills, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess this is a matter of personal privilege, but after having several conversations with my desk mate on the House chamber floor, Mark Hall, and talking to Representative Hardaway, Barbara's kind of overrated to us, just as a myrtle. But I do appreciate you recognizing, because there's lots of people out there that need a haircut, and I just appreciate you doing it.
You recognize, Mr. Sponsor, then we'll move along smartly. Is that the way you say it in the Marines?
They just said move. It had nothing to do with smartly or anything like that. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't Representative Hall, isn't he a barber? Right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think Representative Grills needs to recuse himself from this vote.
Seeing no further questions, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Your bill goes to Council on Rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your service to our country also. Thank you.
Hoorah. And thank you, Representative Cooper, for signing on to the legislation. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Is there any further business to be conducted today? If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.